Okay, here's the properties of the segment. First, you can notice we have the link. And before we're going modify, as we said before, this is interactive type of changing. So we can take mouse, click on middle and drag up and down. And you can see as we're changing, the link in our preview is also modified. This is from 0 to 50. You can type more than 50 if you need it, but this is just help us kind of visual see. You can also click on menu and just type directly inside the link you want to provide. As well, you notice right here on the end we have it plus and minus. This is random variation. So when we start creating plans and we want this variation to have maybe anywhere from 4 or 5 till 7, we just need to put it number 2, and it will add 1 anywhere between 0 to 2. It will add or subtract from the link. So if we create different variation, the link may change based on this random range. And you can see right here in our graph we have it solid color and semi-transparent. And semi-transparent, it is representing variations. Also on the radius, if you notice right here, we have it some variations 0, 1 on the radius, so it can be changed as well. Okay. Also, if you notice, you can click on the link and we can connect this parameter to different areas. We also have an absolute parameter, relative. If relative, it's depend if we have a branch, we can connect to the branch and we can set to relative. So in this case, randomness will be directly related to the size of the trunk. So for example, if this our trunk is 10 and other ones may be smaller, then relative will be changed depend on that size. This is actually very useful to make very realistically related kind of items. Also, one thing notice for you, many of those components that you see on a side, they have exactly the same parameters with some exceptions maybe on the after grow and this, but those ones, they come already with presets, so it's much easier to use them. So for example, for the trunk, we have it enable root flares. If we disable, this has just become a simple cylinder that you can use it as a branch or other effect. So just keep in mind, they are simple components and some of these components already preset for us, so we can easily use it in specific areas. Okay, let's go back to segment. Next, you'll notice right here we have a graph. If we click on this, we can open, and this is we can go with the function of the parent. And you notice right here is relative and a parent. So on this case, we can go and modify how we want this graph to effect. And this is will be linked, for example, relatively to the parent. On this case, we don't see very dramatic changes. When we start working on the branches, you'll see how the link we can change based on relatively position to the parent. So next we'll have a minimum link. This is a link that is the plan or trunk cannot be smaller than that. So if we, for example, set 1, but even right here in random we put it 6, so technically it could go very low, but it will never, you can see, never will decrease below 1 because this is our minimum. Same as the minimum link, we can relate to specific set graph. For example, switch limit on the bottom, so we can select the graph related to the itself or to the parent. These graphs, just notice they're right here. They are kind of useful when you start using them in more relation, and you notice a link, it's kind of as we're going higher, it will decrease. The best view on this probably will be with the radius. Notice right here how we decreasing. So this is top right here, this is bottom. So if I go and take even lower, notice how it's decreasing. So this way we can influence the radius based on a link of the. So if we need it, we can add additional, go right there and create a different shape based on a link of our object. So same, it will be itself, and this will be related to the parent. Okay, so also we have it radius, and above we have it radius mode. Radius mode, it's allowed us to modify if we use user define it's currently. So as we preset, we can inherit and then to the radius previous, or we can inherit from the parent. And in the branches, in some cases, one inherit from the parent, so it will going similarity. But overall, you can always change, and by default, on a first, on the trunk kind of with the roots, it will be user defined, so we can define the size of the original radius. Also, if you select on inherit, you notice right here inherit radius, it's become available. This way it's will relate it, and we can set additional properties as well of the radius, inherit radius. So we can say if it's smaller, bigger, as well apply the graphs to this. Okay, let's go back to user define. Next we have it as well minimum radius, so we can set its radius never can go below 2 as example. And you can see how it's changed right here. So it's always will be 2, it cannot go lower. We can also add randomizer as well to this, but you know what, 0.1, let's go with this, and we can say this radius, minimum radius, cannot drop below this size. We leave it graphs under. So trapezium is specify the amount of trapezium, a vertical external force that apply to this. So let's go ahead to reset our filter, so we have it just preview straightforward. You know what, let me go right here and just make it look a little bit more like a plant. Okay, so for example, we can apply more, and you can see right here trapezium is applied. Again, it will be a little bit more visible when we start working with branches and other things. So also we have it skin. Skin is how applied to the texture, and you have it imported geometry. If we have it maybe external bump maps or other things, or standard. By default, we'll keep it as a standard. Double-sided will apply if we have it leaves. And right there, when we start putting leaf in, you'll see the double-sided will be enabled in this case. Also, we have it bottom cup. And bottom cup, you can see right here, top. If, for example, we go and we remove the cup, you can see at this moment how it's cut off. It's just open. In some cases, we don't need cups. If we continue, keep on going trunk, it just will unused polygons, and we don't necessarily need all this. But if we want to cover top of the tree, then we want to increase this cup as well as the bottom cup right here. And you can see how it's increasing. And then currently we kind of cannot see some of this. Right there, you can see the covering coming on this button. Okay, again, for our roots, we probably want to do this. But if we decide to add different trunk, different segment on top of trunk, we will remove the cups. Okay, next we also have a kind of pan with axis, an axis where we can actually draw how our plant going, sometimes easy. So we open, and you can see at this point we have this 3D kind of preview. So we can take it and we can positioning, kind of almost drawing our tool. When we click apply, notice how it's changed right now. Let's click OK. And you see by the axis, it's modified our plant position as well. So in case if you have any specific shape you want to give it to your plant without any external forces, you can go inside the graph and modify here, so it will apply almost like a not a spline but overall generic shape. Okay, so let's decreasing this one, removing, and we can of course reset it so it will be just brand new. Okay, now we have sampling book that will relate it to the mesh generations, and also how often when it's performed some extra other things, it's how many take samplings before it's applied. Okay, now we have it section. Section, it is first we have it link, and this is how it done on diameter. So for example, if I add few more points, you know, maybe around here, I can take and bring them inside, for example. And notice I can create section, it's applied to everything. I can also take and apply on a middle section, select it, and for example, pull this a little bit out. We can apply another section, select it, and bring this one in. Click OK, and you can see at this point how we change. So now we have, okay, let me change lighting a little bit. Now we modified, we contract right here in the middle and another on the side. So overall, it is this section by doing all the links. So same things. We can modify, we can also even bring them more in. So they will obviously dramatic kind of looking. Let's click OK. And right here on the bottom, you can see how it's now applied as well. Okay, be careful when you do too extreme. You can see right in this area, we have some breaking with normal, so it won't look very good at all. Okay. But it is a nice way. It's easy way to create if you do cactus or other things. Probably section, by creating section, it's easiest way. You will have some problems if you do with section cactus, for example, if you want texturing something, so it's maybe will have a little bit challenge. You want probably to do more with the displacement, and after using function to coloring based on displacement. So anyway, we have it here. Let's go clean this. Click OK. It's already set it. Okay, let's continue in next tutorial. Keep on going to all these properties.